What's going on, guys? It's Greg here, aka NYPrepper. It is Sunday, March 24th, 2024, and I have an emergency alert to share with you guys. We have some major breaking news coming in this morning from Poland. So, apparently, during an overnight missile attack on Ukraine, at least one Russian cruise missile entered Polish airspace and it flew for 39 seconds before leaving Polish airspace. Now, the Polish National Security Council chief said there was actually a second incident where Poland's airspace was violated overnight. So he's claiming there were two incidents. The Polish military and the Polish defense minister only mentioned one incident, the cruise missile that flew in for 39 seconds, and it flew in at 4:23 local time, and the Polish Air Force was scrambled when the missile attack began, and they were patrolling the entire eastern border of Poland, and they were tracking this missile, including other missiles that were flying towards western Ukraine. And according to the Polish defense minister, they didn't shoot down the missile because its trajectory was not going deeper into Poland, but it was turning around and going back out to Ukraine. But this is very, very serious, guys. There was another airspace violation in Poland. The last time this happened was in December, right before the new year. There was a Russian missile that flew 40 kilometers into Polish territory and stayed in Poland for 3 minutes, December 29th. And so, guys, the situation is escalating. Russia launched a massive missile attack last night, targeting multiple cities across Ukraine, but specifically, they hit western Ukraine very hard. As many as 20 missiles and 7 suicide drones hit Lviv and the surrounding area. So they seem to be really focusing on Lviv. And then just a couple of hours after the initial bombardment, there were several more missiles launched from MiG-31K fighter bombers. Okay, so the attack came in like two waves. There was the first main attack, which involved 14 Russian Bear bombers. And then there was another smaller attack a few hours later with MiG-31Ks. But this is very, very serious, guys. Another Russian missile crossing into Polish territory. And what you're looking at here is a tweet from the Polish military. I want to read to you what they wrote here. We would like to inform you that on March 24th of this year at 0423, there was a violation of Polish airspace by one of the cruise missiles launched this night by long-range aviation of the Russian Federation. The targets of the strikes were towns in western Ukraine. The object entered Polish airspace near the town of Oserdów in the Lublin Vojevodstvo and stayed there for 39 seconds. During the entire flight, it was observed by military radar systems. Tonight, all necessary procedures to ensure the safety of Polish airspace were launched. Among other things, Polish and Allied aviation was activated. So this is very serious, guys, okay? And Ukraine pounded the crap out of Crimea overnight. They hit some airfields. They destroyed some fighter jets. They apparently destroyed more Russian naval vessels. They also took out a comms facility for the Russian Black Sea Fleet. So the situation is really escalating, guys. And it's just a matter of time before Poland shoots down one of these missiles or starts shooting down every missile that starts heading towards western Ukraine. Okay, Poland has been very, very patient with all of these missiles that have been going into their airspace, but they're not going to keep letting that fly. They're going to start shooting them down soon. Okay, here we have a tweet from Jacek Siewiera. He's the chief of the National Security Council of Poland, and he wrote on Twitter, "Today before dawn, there was a 39-second incursion of a cruise missile into Polish airspace. The commander-in-chief of the armed forces was immediately informed. The Allies were also provided with information on the course of another incident of violation of the NATO border by combat assets of the Russian Federation." So it sounds like there were two incidents. Now, what's interesting is Ukrainian sources were claiming that at least 3 Russian cruise missiles crossed into Polish airspace over the town of Horodło. Okay, so the Ukrainian sources are claiming 3 Russian cruise missiles crossed. Officially, Poland is saying just 1, and the Polish chief of the Security Council in Poland is saying 2 potentially. Okay, so this is very serious, guys. Very, very serious. Let me show you the location where this missile crossed into Polish territory. So here we have Lviv, and Lviv is actually formerly a Polish city. And eventually, Poland is going to start shooting down these missiles because, even though Lviv is not their city anymore, it's a Ukrainian city, there's still a lot of Polish people that live there. And there's a lot of Polish cultural sites in Lviv. They're not going to allow Russia to turn Lviv into rubble. This update was sponsored by My Patriot Supply. Guys, My Patriot Supply has brought back their 25% discount on their 3-month emergency food supply. And to get the discount, you got to use the link preparewithNYPrepper.com. And the link is in the description below this video. But this 3-month emergency food supply has a 25-year shelf life. It includes over 2,000 calories per day, breakfasts, lunches, dinners, drinks, and snacks, all contained within 6 rugged water-resistant buckets, and free shipping is included. So use the link preparewithNYPrepper.com to get $200 off or 25% off of the My Patriot Supply 3-month emergency food supply. The link is in the description below this video. Free shipping is included. They also have a general store where they sell all kinds of prepping and survival products, and they're always running various discounts. And to get to their general store, you just got to click on the My Patriot Supply logo when you get to preparewithNYPrepper.com at the top of the page, and you'll see their general store where they sell all kinds of prepping and survival products, and they're always running discounts here. So use the link preparewithNYPrepper.com to get 25% off of the My Patriot Supply 3-month emergency food supply, and the link is in the description below this video. So here's the town Oserdów, okay, which is just north of Lviv. So the missile came in, turned around, and then went back towards Lviv. So very serious situation, guys. And Ukraine launched at least 3 Storm Shadow missiles on the information and computing center of the Russian Black Sea Fleet. It appears there were direct hits and the missiles evaded Russian air defenses. And this explains why Forte 15, the RQ-4 Global Hawk, was airborne so long on Friday. Some of you guys may remember I was tracking it all day and all night on Friday. It was looping in the Black Sea all day Friday. Well, now we know why, because Ukraine pounded the crap out of Crimea with missiles, and it was Forte 15 that was feeding information to the Ukrainians and telling them, precisely where to hit. And they also launched missiles at various targets across Sevastopol, with local media reporting that it was the most massive attack on Crimea since the start of the war. Air defense shot down more than 15 missiles in Sevastopol, according to Russian media. Okay, so Russian media, Crimean media is reporting the largest Ukrainian missile attack on Crimea since the start of the war. And they destroyed the information and computing center of the Russian Black Sea Fleet. So here's an aerial photo of the information and computing center that was hit by 3 storm shadows, and you can see these radar dishes and satellite dishes. So this is clearly a comms site that the Ukrainians targeted. And here we actually have a video of the 3 missiles impacting, and it looks like they were just direct hits, okay? So let's check this out. So you can see 3 hits back to back. I'll just play that one more time. There was 2 right there. And then the third one. Look at the massive fireball, guys. These Storm Shadow missiles have a huge warhead. Look at that. Okay, they probably completely destroyed that whole facility. And then there were other missiles going off in the distance. After these 3 went off, there were more missiles going off. And then there's more over there. Look at that. There's more going off over there in the distance. There's another one that looks like the air defense hit in the air. There's another one right there potentially. So massive strike on Crimea by Ukraine. And here we have some footage of people in Crimea fleeing to shelter when these missiles were coming in.
Подъезд, слышь? Ой! Да они все закрыты, слышь? Что делать? Подъезд, слышь?
They have nowhere to go because all the doors are locked. They were trying to find some way to get into that building, and it looks like it was all locked. So, very serious situation. And apparently, Ukrainian Storm Shadow cruise missiles also destroyed 2 Rapucha-class landing ships in Crimea last night. Apparently, the Azov and the Yamal were destroyed. Okay? So this is preliminary information. I can't confirm this 100% just yet. We're hearing that 2 Rapucha-class landing ships in Crimea were destroyed. Also, 3 Russian Sukhoi 27 fighter jets were damaged, and 34 soldiers were killed and 40 wounded in a strike on the Belbek airfield in Sevastopol. And here we actually have some footage from that strike. You can hear the missiles going off in the background. And several fires are reported to be burning at locations in Lviv. And residents of Lviv apparently heard fighter jets flying over the area, potentially Polish fighter jets. And apparently the Russians were targeting mostly energy infrastructure in their massive attack on Lviv. 20 missiles at the Lviv region, guys. That is insane. I can't remember any time that Russia has launched that many missiles and drones at Lviv. I think the most at one time was like 5, maybe 10. And what's interesting is some of these missiles actually hit rural areas. So very strange. I'm not sure what they were trying to accomplish by doing that. And Ukraine struck the Russian garrison of the Hvardeyske in occupied Crimea. There was a powerful explosion and several secondary explosions. Apparently there was a fuel depot on site, so they hit some kind of Russian garrison in this village in Crimea. And the Polish defense minister warned the Polish people that there will be more Polish troops moved to the border provinces with Russia and Belarus, in particular the provinces of Mazury, Podlaskie, Lublin, and Podkarpatskie. These are all the provinces that are bordering Ukraine, Belarus, and Russia. He said it's going to be a permanent presence, and he said, we have development plans. We will strengthen security. We will defend each of our compatriots and every piece of land. We will build civil defense, because this is the second point: a strong, well-functioning army, well-equipped soldiers with the best equipment. Okay, so listen to the key words here. Okay, well-functioning army, best equipment, civil defense, strengthen security, defend our compatriots, every piece of land. Okay, especially when he says we will defend every piece of land. I mean, this is very concerning that, they're suddenly deciding to do this now. And I reported the last couple of days that Belarus was massing forces on the border of Lithuania and Poland. Also, KLW World News inventor Lee Wheelbarger, the man, the myth, the legend, has also been reporting on that as well. He's been doing tons and tons of research, spending hours and hours going through maps, and he's found the locations of some artillery regiments and missile sites right on the border with Poland in Belarus. Okay, but Belarus has moved an entire brigade to the border of Lithuania, 10 miles from the border, with hundreds of tanks and armored vehicles. And they've brought that brigade up to a wartime status and drafted up to 5,000 troops for it. Okay. So it looks like there's going to be a war between NATO and Russia. It's coming, guys. And the whole situation with the concert hall attack, I think that Putin is going to do something really, really crazy soon. Okay. He's already linked the attackers to Ukraine. He said that the Ukrainians provided a window for the attackers to cross the border, basically saying that Ukraine worked with the attackers and conspired with them. Okay, so it doesn't matter who actually did the attack. What matters is who Putin is going to blame for it and what he's going to do about it. And right now, he's blaming Ukraine. All the high profile figures in Russia, Dmitry Medvedev, Margarita Simonian, are blaming Ukraine for this. They're not believing the ISIS story. Okay, even though ISIS released a video, a first person POV, point of view video of them going into this concert hall and slaughtering all these people, Russia still doesn't want to believe it. They want to say that it was a Western conspiracy, that it was the CIA and Mossad and, NATO, you know, funded this big attack on innocent civilians. You have to ask yourself, what the hell would Ukraine gain by doing something like this? What would they gain by sponsoring ISIS to go in and slaughter hundreds of innocent people? How would that benefit Ukraine in any way? How would that benefit NATO? Okay, just think logically. How would that benefit America or benefit NATO or benefit Ukraine in any way? It's not. Okay, so that just doesn't make any sense. And here we have some footage coming out of Belgorod. The situation in Belgorod is continuing to spiral out of control. Okay, Russia is now flattening their own villages to try to exterminate these Russian rebels, and they can't do it because these Russian rebels have been trained and armed by Ukraine and NATO, and they know what they're doing. And it's very difficult for the Russians to try to exterminate them. And they've already brought in the Spetsnaz, and the Spetsnaz were eliminated by the rebels. They brought in tanks. The tanks were eliminated. I showed you guys the video footage of that. There was actually footage last week of the Russian rebels engaging with Spetsnaz units that tried to surround them, and they killed all the Spetsnaz. Okay, so these rebels are a thorn in Putin's side, and he's going to lose his patience, and he's going to do something crazy, guys. I'm telling you, he's going to do something crazy. I don't know what it is. I don't know if he's going to try to take out the Dnipro Dam. He tried to do it on Thursday. I don't know if he's going to try to take it out completely now. I don't know if he's going to deploy chemical weapons over Kharkiv or some other city. He may try to launch bunker busters at Zelensky's compound and take him out. But I have a really bad feeling that Putin is going to do something really, really crazy. And if you look at history, okay, think back to Chechnya. Okay, there was the apartment bombings in September of 1999, and literally a week or two after those apartment bombings, Putin started leveling Grozny, the city in Chechnya, the capital city in Chechnya. He literally reduced it to rubble within a week or two after of it happening. Okay, so he's going to do something, and it's going to be crazy. So get prepared, guys. We're going to see a massive escalation very soon, and it is going to affect you here in the United States. Okay, I know it's thousands of miles away, but what happens there affects us here because that's a flashpoint for nuclear war. Okay, so let me just play this video for you coming out of Belgorod. You can hear the shelling in the background. You may have to turn your volume up a little bit, but it's pretty intense. So you can hear some shells going off there. And something that kind of slipped through the cracks last year was that France approved a 40% increase in their military spending. So France is increasing their military spending by 40% through 2030. They're not doing that for no reason, okay? So France is obviously concerned about something. Here we have some interesting footage coming out of Ukraine, and it shows how the Ukrainians are building the dragon's teeth, which are used to stop tanks or slow down tanks and armored vehicles. They're just concrete pyramids, basically. So Ukraine is rushing to fortify their lines. Their defensive lines are basically non existent. So they're trying to build up their defense lines because they basically have none. And they literally have about a month or two before the ground dries up and Russia is going to make their big push, their big offensive. Sergei Shoigu, the defense minister of Russia, said that they're going to be creating two new ground armies with 16 divisions and 14 brigades. Many experts believe that could amount to 750,000 troops. So Ukraine better hustle and get these defense lines set up because that's going to be critical, okay, to slow them down when they try to come through, because they will come through. It's not if, it's when. And it's going to happen this spring. They're going to try to make this big push, probably in the Donetsk area. And we had a French military cargo plane fly to Lithuania to Kaunas. Now, Kaunas has a large NATO detachment, a multinational battalion in Kaunas. Okay, it's part of the Baltic Tripwire. These troops are not there to stop invasion. They're there to act as a tripwire and a deterrent. That's their main job, similar to what the U.S. troops did in West Germany during the Cold War. They're there as a tripwire, but it looks like they're reinforcing this area because of the situation in Belarus with the brigade moving literally right next to Vilnius there. And we also have a geomagnetic storm watch issued for today and tomorrow. If you live in the northern part of the United States, you may be able to see an aurora later on tonight and also Monday night. You're going to want to make sure you have a clear sky with no cloud cover, no light pollution, and a clear view to the horizon. So you want to get up on some high ground. You don't want to be in like a valley with mountains around you. You may not see the auroras, but I'm going to go out and I'm going to try to see if I don't see them here in PA. Last year, we had several auroras here in PA. I just didn't see them because the weather was bad in my area, but hopefully I'll get some footage of them for you guys. And also, the Houthis launched 5 ballistic missiles near a Chinese oil tanker in the Red Sea over the weekend. And Israeli airstrikes targeted the Hezbollah militia sites in the city of Baalbek in Lebanon, with reports of casualties, and around 50 missiles were launched from Lebanon towards the Golan Heights. 4 of them were intercepted, and Israel apparently launched strikes on Damascus as well. So that's some of the latest breaking news that I have. I will be back later on with more breaking news. So make sure you're subscribed, hit the bell icon down below so you get notified when I post these updates. And until next time, take care, God bless, and don't forget the 3 Ps: prepare, practice, and persevere. Guys, the world is getting crazier by the day. We're on the verge of World War III. The U.S. is drowning in trillions of dollars in debt. Inflation is at an all-time high, and there's no end in sight. So you need to prepare your finances for the future with precious metals. Precious metals are a great way to protect your hard-earned savings and retirement against inflation and the uncertainty of the stock market. Also, precious metals are good to have for the purposes of preparedness, to be able to barter with people for essential supplies if the grid goes down. Every prepper should have at least a small amount of silver coins. The company I trust for my precious metals is Midas Gold Group. Text NYPrepper to 232425 for free information on precious metals. Midas Gold Group is 100% veteran owned and supports veterans through the Wounded Warrior Project. Midas Gold Group will work with you to convert part of your retirement savings into gold or to set up a gold IRA. And unlike many precious metals dealers, Midas Gold Group offers precious metals in small denominations, which is great for preparedness, so you have something tangible to use for bartering when the grid goes down. Precious metals have continuously risen in price over the past 100 years and are considered a safe investment. So text NYPrepper to 232425 for free information and to get started today.